You can't really see him.
So I haven't been able to talk with you guys the last couple days, and I have gotten to talk to Mr. Ellison's class the last couple days. So we're a little behind in this class, and that's okay. We're going to catch up right now. I just want to quickly review some of the things that we talked about yesterday. Actually, you know what? Not yesterday. We haven't talked about them since Monday. And it's already Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday.
Spring break!
So let's talk about some of the things that were discussed in the chapter. If you can't handle sitting down and not poking yourself with pencils, I'm going to take the pencils away, okay? We're going to talk about the land. We talked about the geography. We talked about how India was really good at farming. Okay, so we're going to just review some of these concepts, and then I have a worksheet that I'd like to give you. Present-day India, Bangladesh, Pakistan are located in southern Asia. And those are the three parts of Asia that we're going to talk about in the next couple of years. The area is known as a subcontinent because to the north of India, we have a mountain range. Does anyone remember what mountain range that is? Marcus?
Himalayan.
The Himalayan mountains. Okay? And it kind of serves as a big wall to separate India from the rest of Asia. We did a little bit of coloring when we colored the map, and I had you guys label where the Himalayan mountains were. Okay? A subcontinent is what India is called, and a subcontinent is a large area of land separated by geography from the rest of a continent. Some of you saw as you were looking at maps of India, how India used to be its separate island, and it kind of bumped up to the rest of Asia. Okay? The continental drift takes a long time, but that did happen. Okay? There are two great rivers in this continent. The Ganges begins in the snowy peaks of the Himalayas, and the Indus River. Both are produced from a lot of snow that happens on top of the mountain. It melts, it comes down, and it forms a river that never dries up. The Himalayas stretch about 1,500 miles and are divided into three ranges: the greater, the lesser, and the outer Himalayas. Okay? They're really creative with names in that region. There are no large mountains such as the Himalayas in the southern part of India. It's flat. Okay? Besides rivers, the major source of water in India is rain. And we talked about what happens that allows India to have water. Slide it there. This is going to bother you. There you go. Good job.
I'll just do that.
How does India get its water? Monsoons, okay? Rain. So when flooding happens in India, that's considered a bad thing around here, right? If we got a flood in New Lisbon, that'd be a bad deal. But if if India has a flood, they're provided with fresh water and they need that, okay? A monsoon is a season when moist wind blows off of the ocean, warm air creates moisture in the air, and then it rains for a really long period of time, and then it creates flooding. Okay? Now, in the opposite side, okay, in the wintertime, when the earth turns away from the sun, the winds shift in India, and it comes from the north. Well, what's to the north of India? Do you remember? We just talked about it. Asia, but there's a big, huge piece of geography that we just talked about.
The Himalayas?
The Himalayas. Now, has anyone ever been on top of a mountain? You've been on top of a mountain? What is the temperature difference? Is it warmer or colder on top of a mountain? It's colder on top of a mountain. So we get cold air in the wintertime that blows from the mountain, which makes it cold. Then I had you guys watch a few videos. Okay? Then we talked about farming. The monsoon season creates flooding, which oftentimes is destructive, but for India, flooding is needed because it provides the country with a lot of silt. And for farmers, silt is a good thing. Okay? Silt allows them to plant crops and be successful at farming. The farmers of ancient India made good use of floods from the fresh silt. They planted cotton and sesame seed just before the monsoon season, and then when that silt came across the country, they were able to grow those crops. They also raised livestock, cattle, sheep, and goats. Today, flooding is still causes problems, but it's not because of just the monsoons, it's because of deforestation. Without looking at the board, can someone tell me what is this deforestation? Gabby?
Widespread of cutting down trees.
Cutting down trees. Widespread cutting down of trees. Okay? Now, it's not like watching Axemen. Does anyone watch that show? Axemen? It's a pretty funny show. These guys go out on the sides of the mountains and they cut down a bunch of trees. We're talking about all of the trees for a large part of the country. They just cut them all down. So when it rains, there's nothing to absorb all that water. It just sits there. And that's a bad thing. And that's all we covered on that day. Okay? Now today, going back to this chapter and using those pages, I have a worksheet that I would like you to do. Okay? This is for lesson 1, which are the pages on this through 203 in the textbook. And these questions are going to be pretty easy. And all I'm asking you to do is these questions for tomorrow so that we can be caught up with Mr. Ellison's class. Fair? All right. You can pause it.
Peace.